the most drafted again. I thought Michigan had a chance at setting the all-time record of drafted players, which belongs to Georgia, still with 15. I was wrong because our offensive line wasn't drafted. Only half of them were, 3 out of 6. I thought people would covet the Michigan offensive line, but instead they found people across seas and at ULL and other lower schools, etc., that didn't win, but had better measurables. So that is, I'm going to go through every Michigan draftee, but there were some that were left out, like Drake Nugent and Carson Barnhart and another one. Forgetting his name right now. But we have, the fact remains that Braden McGregor wasn't drafted as well. He was a dog that was part of a rotational defense, and he should have been considered drafted. I'm sure he'll be a signee. What do they call that? Undrafted free agent. Michael Barrett has skills. Apparently, they don't translate because it was late when he was drafted, and Michigan made a push. He was drafted at 240 by Carolina. Great value there for them. Michigan made a push in the last round, the 7th round, to get the record. Michael Barrett, Ladarius Henderson, Jalen Harrell, Cornelius Johnson were all drafted in the 7th round of this 2024 NFL draft. We came up a bit short. But compared to last year, we got better. Michigan was tied for most draftees last season at 11, and this season we have 13 drafted, and the most again. So next year might be the year for Michigan to get the 15th draftee to at least tie Georgia 16 to recover, because overall it doesn't matter because Michigan won the Natty. So that tells me that Michigan has plenty of people returning, production returning, because a lot of people left and weren't drafted. So think about it. Someone's had that production at Michigan. Let's go. All right. The most, and we'll talk about the schools who got the most, and then we'll talk about Michigan's draftees. All right, and where they went to. College football draft results by team in 2024. Michigan was number 1. They went 15-0 last season, had 13 draftees. In the first round, JJ. Second round, Chris Jenkins and Mike Sainristil. In the 4th round, they had one and or a couple. And then they had 4 in the 3rd round, and 2 in the 5th round. It's my birthday. I can cry if I want to, right? But I'm not crying. This is an amazing day. Number 2, Texas was second with 11 draftees, and then we had 3 tied at number 3 for the most. Washington, the national runner-up. Florida State, the bowl game runner-up to Georgia that beat down, man, but they had 10 drafted. And Alabama had 10 drafted. Oregon had 8 drafted along with Georgia, and Penn State had 8 players drafted. Notre Dame and USC both had 7 drafted, so that rounds out your 10 best teams. It's all the teams that win, right? Or that did win last season. But mostly perennial powerhouses here I'm seeing on this list. Let's talk Michigan players that were drafted. In the first round, J.J. McCarthy was number 10 overall. He went to Minnesota, but he was the 5th quarterback taken. at number 10 overall. So they went early and often. The first three were quarterbacks, and then Michael Penix, I believe, jumped in front of J.J. McCarthy to go into Atlanta, and then J.J. McCarthy was taken. We have Chris Jenkins and Mike Sainristil at number in the second round. They were taken. Chris Jenkins, 49th overall to Cincinnati, the 7th best D tackle. Apparently, that he was the 7th taken. And then Mike Sainristil, 50th overall. He was drafted right behind Chris Jenkins to Washington, the 8th DB taken in the draft. And then the third round happened where we had 4 players taken. Junior Colson, number 69 overall to the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh loved Junior Colson in the middle of the defense. He was the 2nd linebacker taken. All right. Blake Corum went in the 3rd round, 83rd overall. He went to the Rams, Los Angeles Rams, the 3rd running back taken in this 2024 draft. Roman Wilson was also taken in the 3rd round, 84th overall to Pittsburgh. There are plenty of wide receivers, though, that were already taken before him, but he is going to make an impact. I believe that. Pittsburgh, you got great value there in Roman Wilson. Zach Zinter was the first offensive lineman taken from Michigan in the 3rd round, 85th overall, and that was kind of surprising, but, he was the best. He was an All-American before he got hurt. And but you have to look at what the other people did too, and why didn't everyone on this line get drafted? That's why we did not break the record, but I am happy for Zach Zinter coming back from that and getting drafted, going to Cleveland next season. And then we had a couple of 5th round draft picks. A.J. Barner went 121 overall to Seattle. He was the 6th tight end taken. And then Trevor Keegan, our 2nd offensive lineman, went in the 5th round at 172 overall to Philadelphia. So all of our players are going to different teams. There are no multiples yet. There is going to be one team that took 2 Michigan players. Can you tell me in the comments before I say it? Let's go. Michael Barrett went in the 7th round. Like I said, he was the first to go. 240 overall to Carolina. And then Ladarius Henderson went 249 overall to Houston. So we made a push here at the end because Jalen Harrell, a couple picks later, 252 overall to Tennessee. And then Cornelius Johnson, 253 overall to the Chargers. That's the team that took 2 players. Harbaugh was the one that did it, 2nd player for them. So, I do wish him luck in the NFL. He did amazing things. He left us in a good situation. We just had 13 draft picks. Most people will credit that to him, of course. But Sharon Moore had a hand in all of that, and he is here and he is back. So we'll see what happens in the future for the Chargers and Michigan going forward. But what a day it was for Detroit. The draft was in Detroit, a week of celebration here in Michigan. Now Michigan had the most drafted players in the NFL in 2024. And we'll see how they can do going forward and how many more will be undrafted signees, like I said. What a great day to be a Wolverine. Let's go, baby. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for all the new subscribers. We're all on our way to 300. Let's go. Have a great night, everybody.